Hello and welcome to the announcement of the final Football Writers Association Award of the Year. And I think it's a pretty special one. It's our first ever award for student football writers. And it's part of our attempt to encourage and support the next generation of football writers, hoping to make our industry more open and inclusive to everyone, regardless of race, colour or sexual orientation. And we've had the most incredible amount of entries, 534. And my job as a Football Writers Association coordinator has been to look through every single one of them. What a joy it's been. Some real talent out there. There's been all sorts of types of entries, from interviews, first-person pieces, opinion pieces, match reports. And I think our winners were all really, really worthy. I'd like to make a special note for Michael Collins and Jitesh Vinu, who were both made entries aged only 12. George Barnes, only 13. The next generation runs very, very deep. I'd also like to mention Hien Chu from Myanmar, who sent a piece in about the difficulties of reporting on football in a country absolutely riven with crisis. Our awards were named in honour of two of the true greats of our industry. There's the FWA Vikki Orvice Award for Student Football Writer of the Year 2021 and the FWA Hugh McIlvanney Award for Student Football Writer of the Year 2021. It was no easy task to come up with the best of such a fantastic array of fantastic writing. Our judges went to great lengths to pick out the very best. And to get an idea of how we did it, I'd like to hand over to Caroline North, who was married to Hugh McIlvanney and is a distinguished writer in her own right, and Ian Ridley, who was married to Vikki Orvice and is a great football writer.
Hugh would have been honoured and touched, as am I, that the FWA has chosen to name the award in his memory, and probably pretty astonished too. But delighted to remain connected with another generation of football writers in this way.
Vikki would have, knowing Vikki, lots of advice for young people coming into the football and the media, because she was passionate about it, and we talked about it an awful lot. I think a lot of young people want to get into sports journalism because they love sport. And Vikki and I always used to say together, you have to love the journalism. You know, if you're going to be working late nights and on the road and in unfamiliar places when everyone else is in their beds, then you need to love this job. I think the advice she would give is to back yourself. Vikki worked a lot with women in football. She was a founder member and a board member. And one of the things that she always felt that particularly with young women was that they never quite believed in themselves enough, never backed themselves enough. And I think, you know, you really have to believe that you're as good as anybody. I think there is a feeling amongst, you know, sometimes young people, you know, oh, it's too hard, I'm not going to make it, you know, my face doesn't fit or whatever. You know, Vikki had those tribulations too. There were times she was told by a sports editor once that a woman could not do the job full time, in his opinion, and that was what led her to move on, you know, and find somewhere else. She wasn't going to take no for an answer.
Hugh wasn't keen on dispensing an unsolicited advice to fellow writers, but what I can speak to are some of the things he considered important. He had a hatred of reaching for the easy cliche, for example, and a conviction that every word in your piece should be paying its freight. All his life, Hugh valued having absorbed the disciplines of news reporting early in his career. He believed that the habits of mind this instilled, the ability to discriminate in matters of accuracy and relevance and soundness of sources, are as vital as ever in the modern era of instant publication on websites, blogs, and social media. I think he would have urged young football writers always to question and assess, to probe and dissect the information they're handling, and to rely on their own observation and judgment rather than too heavily on quotes and sound bites served up to them. and probably to take a clear-eyed view of celebrity.
I must pay tribute here to Jim White of the Football Writers Association, and we had such an astonishing amount of entries, and Jim sort of got them down to a really interesting shortlist with a lot of variety of topic on them. Very inventive shortlist, and some sort of clever topics out of the ordinary, some left field, and I like that. You know, people not just going for what they think is the obvious. You know, I particularly liked a piece by Eve Morgan on the diversity of the England football team, and hopefully we're going to see that again this summer at a time when I think, you know, the country is in need of seeing, you know, that we can function as a diverse and harmonious nation. That may be asking for a lot, but I liked Eve's piece on that. I liked Elena Shapiro's piece on playing football up in the northeast, the windswept northeast when she did it, and that it was an absolute nightmare but also enormous fun. You know, that sort of kind of sums up football sometimes, and football journalism. Sometimes it can be a nightmare, but it can also be, when you look back on it, absolutely enormous fun. And of course the one that also stood out, apart from Ella's, was Keris Holiday's. What it was like to be a woman, you know, not just difficult, but terrifying at times going to watch football. And it was a really valuable piece, I thought, that that a lot of men need to read, and hopefully they will read it on the FWA website.
First of all, it was a pleasure to be given the opportunity to read the nominations. All of the pieces showcased a range of journalistic skills and interesting choices of topic. It hardly seems fair to single out any of them. I thought Adam Barker demonstrated a sensitive use of quotes from his subject. Jack Tooth gave a lively assessment of the perennial professional complaint about being judged by those who haven't played the game at any sort of level that would have resonated with Hugh years ago. Elias Bailiff impressed me with his assured and eloquent writing. But congratulations are due to all of the shortlisted writers, and I'll be looking out for their bylines in the future.
Without further ado, it's time for the announcement of our winners, which is to be made by a very special person.
My congratulations to Jacob Transwell and Ella Grania-Cook. Big congratulations.
Ella Grania-Cook, 24, she's doing creative writing at Roehampton, I believe. She wrote a very, very charming piece about following Battersea Dogs Sunday morning football. And I really liked it. She sort of counterbalanced it with her kind of fondness for Manchester United and the different experiences in the community. And I loved it. I thought it was a very sort of charming piece of writing. And I particularly liked her payoff where she talked about, you know, her 3-year-old daughter being in the huddle with the players at halftime, and the little girl reaching her hand up and one of the players taking her hand. So that was really nice.
Thank you. And looking, you judged the shortlist. What else stood out for you?
There were several pieces. What was I must pay tribute here to Jim White of the Football Writers Association, and we had such an astonishing amount of entries, and Jim sort of got them down to a really interesting shortlist with a lot of variety of topic on them. Very inventive shortlist, and some sort of clever topics out of the ordinary, some left field, and I like that. You know, people not just going for what they think is the obvious. You know, I particularly liked a piece by Eve Morgan on the diversity of the England football team, and hopefully we're going to see that again this summer at a time when I think, you know, the country is in need of seeing, you know, that we can function as a diverse and harmonious nation. That may be asking for a lot, but I liked Eve's piece on that. I liked Elena Shapiro's piece on playing football up in the northeast, the windswept northeast when she did it, and that it was an absolute nightmare but also enormous fun. You know, that sort of kind of sums up football sometimes, and football journalism. Sometimes it can be a nightmare, but it can also be, when you look back on it, absolutely enormous fun. And of course the one that also stood out, apart from Ella's, was Keris Holiday's.
Well, my first reaction, of course, is to give Jacob my warmest congratulations. He has written a personal and affecting piece on an important and timely subject, football's duty of care to the mental well-being of the majority of talented children trained in its youth system who are destined never to make a living from the game. Jacob himself could have become one of those left floundering, but instead, here he is, the very first FWA Student Writer of the Year. That's something nobody can take away from you, Jacob, so well done.
And a couple of other judges wanted to add their insights too.
This is Allison Rudd. I'm a sports writer with The Times, and I was asked to judge the entries for the Vikki Orvice Award. And I just wanted to say how pleased I was with the winning entry. It was an entry I loved. Ella Cook put together a beautiful piece of writing, very eloquent, and it conveyed a lot of emotion and warmth about just how rewarding it can be to be a supporter of a Sunday League team. So warmest congratulations to Ella. I hope she takes sports writing to heart and makes it a career.
Hello all, my name is Sammy Mockbell. I am Chief Football Reporter for the Daily Mail and also National Committee Member for the FWA. Very recently I was lucky enough to be on the judging panel for the first ever Hugh McIlvanney Student Writers Award, and I have to say the standard of sports writing was absolutely phenomenal. You know, sky high, and suffice to say, all the entries, you'd all go on to have fantastic careers in the industry, because if that's a standard now, then you have absolutely no problem at all. But as ever with these things, there can only ever be one winner. So congratulations to Jacob Transwell, his fantastic and poignant account of being released by Bournemouth during his days as an academy footballer really hit home. It was bursting with emotion, bursting with detail, and it was an absolutely brilliant read. So Jacob, well done. Other entries that caught the imagination was Brendan Pitcher's sort of on the spot interview with Ross Embleton, who had just been sacked as Leyton Orient manager. It was an excellent get that was fitting, that would get into any newspaper. So yeah, that was fantastic as well. But well done to all the entrants. As I said earlier, the standard was absolutely really impressive. So well done to all of you. Good luck for the future, and keep doing what you're doing.
Hi, this is Miguel Delaney from The Independent. I helped judge the FWA Hugh McIlvanney Student Football Writer of the Year Award. Sorry, it's a little bit of a big title and I have to keep looking down. But I just want to say congratulations to everyone who entered. They were all, I think, a credit to the honour of you. Really fitting, I suppose, the man who the award is in honour of. But obviously, special congratulations to Jacob. His piece on his own experiences was exactly the type of insight and fine writing that are worthy of such an award, and just came out on top of an exceptionally strong field. And congratulations again. It was a great piece of work.
Due to pandemic restrictions, we've not been able to hand over the trophies as we would like, but we will do so in due course. Stay tuned for further details. And in the meantime, the top 3 in both categories are available to read on our website, footballwriters.co.uk. Until next year, goodbye.